Hello and welcome. We're gonna look at some astrology for the rest of the year, mainly for Scorpio season and a little bit like what's happened before and a little bit what's coming after in December and going into next year. So this chart is the Aries full moon chart that was with Chiron, and looking back like 6 months, we had the solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, and it also was with Chiron and very close to these degrees too. It's like it was at 19 if I remember correctly. So I really feel like this is like now illuminating how far we've come in embodying our own will and our instinct and going more like listening to that more and seeing like how that brings our life in a different way, or I hope so for you. And yes, or it might show you where you still need to work on that. But since we've been going through this north node in Aries for the past over a year now, it really has been like the focus of the collective evolution to go to like to our own path, our own individuality. And then with the south node in Libra, like balancing that out with the connections that we have, like can we be ourselves in our connections, and are we accepting ourselves and the other as they are, and what we are together as like a unique combination? Are we honoring that? Are we honoring the truth of that? And I would like for us to do that. And yeah, I think that would create much more of a harmony, even when there of course is chaos, and with change there's always a bit of chaos, and with, you know, Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio already then, and like the sun has already now moved into Scorpio when I'm recording this, so I think I'm gonna move into that theme and chart next, because I've talked about these slower placements too already, like in the previous, some of them in the previous videos, so you can check that out if you're interested in the previous half a year of astrology. I have in English already those 2 videos. So yes, it's about like stopping to repress our individuality in our relationships and bringing back the parts of ourselves that, and in a way like bringing back our life's force, like our creative spark. And that's what we've been all working on, especially I guess the past 6 months and already before. And this is a kind of a culmination and an illumination about that stuff, this full moon in Aries that we had on the 17th of October. And so happy about that Pluto is direct. It really feels much better than a retrograde. Pluto in Capricorn in the 29th degree. Forward is nice. And we still have we have to still look at that, you know? We have to still look at what's wrong with Capricorn still. There's still some stuff that's wrong with Capricorn. And stuff that has been wrong about authority in the world. So that's still coming up until at least until up till next month in November, when Pluto goes into Aquarius. Again, we had some of that already earlier, but then now it's going to be there for a long while, all the way until 2043, 2044. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah. So we're still wrapping up that transformation about our authority, finding our own authority. Like, everyone has their own inner authority. I looked a little bit into human design, and it talks about how different people have different energy centers defined, or constantly activated. So they have different ways of moving naturally in the world. So it's important to know yourself well enough that you are moving from your true own authority in the world, so that it doesn't go into the not self themes of bitterness and so on. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can look into human design. And yeah, let's look at the next chart, because a lot of these placements are the same there too. So Scorpio, new moon. Here we have it. It's 9 degrees of Scorpio. So with Scorpio, we have the themes of like the veil is thin between the realms, to the, in a way, to the underworld, but also to the ancestors. So that sort of themes started coming up in a way already when Mercury moved in there. It's been there for a while. It's later in Scorpio there. So you might notice things just moments reminding you, or you can feel the energy of someone who has passed away, like a pet or family members, or this sort of thing. Or maybe like grief about some of that kind of stuff. If it hasn't been processed, it might be coming up. And yeah, to be able to be okay and like to welcome these more difficult emotions and themes. Well, they're not difficult for everyone, but it's like, then we need to integrate and remember the polarity point. So Taurus is going to help us stabilize all that intensity of Scorpio. So with Taurus medicine, we are talking about, of course, beauty and security, and like, how can we, through our senses and through being aware of our body, how can we make ourselves feel calm and safe? Can be things like proper heating, uh, just things that make you feel really cozy, like a really soft blanket, or and then with the beauty, like natural beauty, spending time in nature, making your living space comfortable and beautiful, whatever that is for you. What do you like? To bring that into your daily life more, that beauty. So then when we in our body feel safe and calm in our nervous system, then we are able to face these Scorpio themes much better and not get so overwhelmed. So that's good to keep in mind if things get intense. To bring that into your day, into your everyday. And for some people, that might be silence, some others, something else. But yeah, depends on your design. All right. So, what else have we got going on? We got the North Node still in Aries, but it's moving towards Pisces. Like that's going to move over, I think, very early in January. We're gonna have the node at 0 of Aries and then conjuncting Neptune and going into Pisces, and then we're gonna have next year, for the next 1.5 years, the the nodes in Pisces and Virgo. So the south node moves here and the north node moves there. They move the other direction, what is called kind of retrograde, and the planets move counterclockwise in this, but that's what their direct is. Okay. So those are the themes that we're going to be moving into as the collective evolutionary focus, about balancing those themes out. Like, where are we coming from the Virgo themes? Like, I feel like, yeah, maybe Pluto Virgo generation has some like, in a way, they can bring that Virgo wisdom, but then also like moving more into that Pisces polarity, where we also remember that interconnectedness and that flow, so that the Virgo routine doesn't become too rigid. For instance, there's so much more to say about it later, but there's like a little intro there. And it's gonna affect all of us in some way. Depends on your chart, on your personal chart. Yeah, so that's coming up. And then we still have this Libra theme for a while, and Aries that I was already bringing up, but we have here like Juno. Juno was to bring back that what was fragmented in our personal psyche, or as like members from society that got like pushed out in a way, or shunned. So we want to bring back connection. We want to bring back connection. And how do we build good connections and one-on-one, and then moving into Aquarius, also like the bigger picture, the groups. That's what Juno helps us with. And also Vesta's heart fire is there, the sacred flame. Gonna be renewed gonna have a new cycle with regards to the past, so we can bring that in a new way. The spiritual flame. And should we go into Venus then, because it rules the south node in Libra. Sagittarius. So Venus is like exploring, and because Venus has to do with this relating and this beauty stuff, we're exploring these themes, like, what do I actually like? Who do I actually get along with? And how often? And what's a good balance with that? Yeah. And Pallas Athena is there too, so maybe we're exploring also in a way career teams, or like how to bring all that good stuff of nice relating into being part of how we connect also professionally. Yes. And the North Node ruler, Mars, is in here in Cancer, building up to this opposition with Pluto in well, it's still in Capricorn. So it's building up to this final confrontation with the structures of the past that are no longer working. And it might bring up some anger, or like just some action and will to change, I would say. But it can be intense and like a bit snappy. So keep that in mind. And it's not personal. It's just we're going through this phase of we need to, take action in nurturing ourselves and each other. But, we're still kind of angry about how it used to be, and like how we've been so beside ourselves, and we want to bring back that true authority that is based in Cancer, in the compassion. That's true authority, where we can be encouraging and gentle, even when we don't always agree. Yeah. So, but it's also about like standing up for showing that we care about things. Yeah. Taking action on it. Bringing our will into that nurturing of the situation that we're in. We're in this huge times of shifting, very big changes in the world. So we really need that nurturance for ourselves. And then once we integrate that, then we can start to bring it for others too in a better way. All right. And, also the sun been making a square with Pluto. So that has also been a bit like closing out those old Libra themes. It's been like a third quarter to Pluto, like the old ways of relating with regards to this Pluto in Capricorn phase that has been teaching us a whole lot. Pluto is kind of like that kind of like through in a way, like going through it, going through all that difficulty. We learn and we transform and we evolve. So that's what's been going on with Capricorn themes. And now we're closing that out slowly, and then this final month of that sort of big focus on it. Of course, it never ends, but with regards to this transit, we're closing it out, and Jericho is there welcoming Pluto into Aquarius when it gets there, and she's holding space for all the healing that we want to do on the interconnected level, Like we want to, yeah, hold space for that. And for, like the quantum Uranian realms, we got Uranus in Taurus. It's like, yeah, connecting that kind of detached perspective because it's so broad. It's like Uranus sees the whole big picture, but then it might like forget that it's also part of the picture itself. So, and then that's like the wholeness of Pisces. So in Taurus, I think it's also about remembering like the broad picture, even if we're bringing it through like this sort of a body that's connected to Taurus. But then like that body too is connected to that very far out perspective, and to honor that body, because the body also has very deep wisdom, and some, in a way, I feel like, yeah, we can't really bring that wisdom here without the body either. So it's really a collaboration. So I really like bringing these different archetypes together in this, like when the transits happen. I really love that because that kind of like synthesizes it together, and then we see like, oh, even though we know all these details, together they form something even more and different, and it's cool. Yeah, so Saturn, who rules that Capricorn stuff, is in Pisces though, so it's also like wanting to bring into that, like, wanting to, yeah, I don't know, maybe we want to bring that Saturnian and that Capricorn in a nice way into the whole. And how can it be like, there's a lot of good about having a container like Saturn can do. And in Pisces, I feel like it needs to be flexible because Pisces is mutable. So it's, in a way, there's a little bit of like a paradox there, but it's not impossible. Even Saturn can adapt. And Saturn is so much more than just, the devil, so to speak. Well, it's connected to the devil card in the tarot. And if you want to see tarot readings, by the way, you can check it out. I've some of those in English too in the channel. And don't get weirded out if you subscribe, that there's like Finnish content too, in the Finnish language, as I'm from Finland. So, yeah, but I do appreciate it. All right. So then also Jupiter is in Gemini, bringing a lot of focus to the details and how to communicate all of this weird stuff that we're finding out. About our own will, our relating, how we want to evolve Capricorn and Aquarius into something better, or like just evolving it further. Like we have to kind of accept that stuff, the world has been really out of whack, but it's part of these cycles, and we can make it better, and it's getting better, and we just need to be in our right authority and ground that down into Cancer. Yeah? Into that nurturance. being sweet to ourselves and loving. Okay. So other stuff happening in November. We've got Mercury will enter the retrograde shadow on November 7th. It's gonna be there in Sag. At 6 degrees, it's going to enter the shadow. And then on November 15th, we're gonna have the Taurus full moon. So let's look at that. It's gonna be with Uranus. Beautiful. So very much like illuminating that need for that Taurus medicine again. Beauty, rest, safety, silence, whatever it is for you, bring that into your life. And then like at the same time honoring that broad perspective of looking at like, you know, all the pieces, how we're looking with Jupiter in Gemini, all the little details, but putting them into perspective. And like Uranus also brings like this sudden insights. It's kind of like intuition or like an aha moment where you don't really know exactly why, but you just know something. And some people are more in touch with this realm than others, but we can connect to it collectively. So yeah, very, 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 very nice themes going on with the Taurus full moon. And other stuff seems pretty similar at that point to what I was saying earlier. Yeah. And then next stuff. Well, this is not a definitive list, but some of the stuff that I noticed about November. Another thing was the Pluto going into Aquarius. And this is on November 19th. Station direct. No, wait, not station. It's actually when it enters Aquarius at 0 degrees. Yeah. And gonna be there for a long time. So you have a month on you to reflect on the past 16 years and kind of prep yourself, feel into what is your next 20 years gonna be about. It's gonna come even in any case, but this is like a opportunity to notice things are closing out, new things are beginning. There's like an overlap of those two things happening at the same time. Yeah. So gonna have then also like Mars retrograde at some point, and yeah, the Mercury retrograde starts on November 25th. And we have Sag season, so then the Scorpio themes will ease up for a bit, a little bit less pronounced. So we got Sag new moon while Capricorn is no, not Capricorn. While Mercury is retrograde, also there. So it's a new beginning for talking about our overarching belief systems. Or that's like one way to look at it. And yeah, so we're starting new ventures. Something like exploring by experiencing. And like we're also pondering about like how to communicate about these things in a good way. And also here Jupiter then is like amplifying that. I mean, isn't this like a mutual reception then too, like with Mercury and Jupiter, because they're in each other's signs. So Jupiter is there like amplifying all the details and the words, the communication, like really expanding it, and also helping us to intuitively move between like, you know, all those details, and then a new beginning in how do we bring that all together and express it, which is cool. Like, I hope more people can express about their beliefs and their spirituality. Would love to hear about it. And you're welcome to share something in the comments if you feel so called. All right. Palestina moving then into Capricorn. We've got Venus in Capricorn. Ceres has been there for a while. So yeah, we got the ladies in Capricorn. Pallas is kind of at home there. She's linked to the 10th house themes. Venus in Capricorn wants stability. And Ceres is there like think for me Ceres always reminds me of the importance of taking care of our environment. And also like honoring grief and honoring relationships as they are, like that we can't control the other. We can't like Ceres, Demeter couldn't help it that Persephone had to go to the underworld half of the time. It just is that way. So she had to accept it, but she had to also accept her grief about it and feel through it. Yeah. Maybe it's about like relating to her grief too, in a way, about all this Capricorn stuff, like how bad it all got. And how we want to make it better. Yeah. So the south, that's the south node ruler. We got the north node ruler, Mars, in Leo. Before it goes then retrograding back into Cancer again, gonna stay there for a while. So we still got more to integrate about that. Nurturing our own individuality. What kind of nurturance do we need individually? What how can we listen to our instinct about that? Like, what do I need right now? Might be for someone like, some people feel it in the moment, what's right for them. Some people learn about that through time, so they have to just try things. But yeah, it's about like learning about those things. What's right for you? And then in Leo, it's like taking action on sharing your creative expression in whatever form that is for you. It can be art or music or anything. And we're gonna get this Leo themes too, like how can we bring our Leo life force expression, our art, our creativity, individual kind, and bring it together with the collective Aquarius in the coming decades in a good way. Take action on that. Let that light shine through us, and together create something even better. Yeah. Okay. So this was the new Sag moon. Then we have Gemini full moon on the 12th of December. The Sag new moon was on the 1st of December. And on the 15th also, like we see here, full moon in Gemini. And Mercury then has retrograded to the 6th degree and will go direct again. So, Gemini. By then, the retrograde ends. We're still gonna be moving forward through what we looked and pondered about with all this that we'd been experiencing by that point with the retrograde. So then we're gonna have more clarity about it already. Then we can start to more outwardly express what we have found. What is our overarching views about it, and our in the way individual views too, because we still got the North Node in Aries, so that brings that definitely still into it. It's important to have that foundational connection to your individuality, even when you're part of the collective or a group. So, yeah. Full moon in Gemini. So, yeah, it's like, then we see it much clearer. The details and in Gemini and the Sag bigger picture through our experience. So that's what I think about that full moon. And then we have like here Black Moon Lilith starting to delve into the Scorpio realms, and Juno is there. So yeah, she wants to bring back those repressed parts, and she wants to maybe help us integrate the Scorpio realms if it's still like overwhelming for someone. Some things are overwhelming. there are guides out there, like, can be in a way in the spiritual realms, or you can even connect with some humans who have those connections, and then they can maybe together with you bring that kind of guidance and energy, and the Taurus kind of safety at the same time, that groundedness into the picture, so that you can bring back that was like disowned by others in you, and then you internalize that pattern or that belief. But I want you to know that that's important, and it's possible to change what holds you back. You don't need to stay stuck. You can work through these things. And if you need support with that, Juno is there for you, and also other people. So, all right. It's also a reminder, like, for all of society, like, we need that sort of roles who bring back that what has been pushed away. Because if we keep pushing things away, they're gonna, it's gonna be dysfunctional. Then it's going to, erupt in destructive shadow behavior instead, if you don't integrate it in a good way otherwise. So I encourage you to reach out for support if you need to, wherever that you are guided to do that, following your own authority in that sense. Yeah. Here we have also, then by that point, Venus and Ceres in Aquarius. So Venus bringing our relational focus into the collective. Yeah. Also, it's going to like pass Pluto on the way there, and Ceres too is like, okay, we're done with Capricorn for now, and we're going to focus more on Aquarius, with Pluto moving there too. We're holding space for the new. We're holding space for ourselves and each other in that uncertainty. I mean, the new is always uncertain. We don't know what's coming exactly, but we are there to explore it together. And we have support of Cherry Claw and Ceres there. Yeah, there can be like some, well, it depends on the person, but there might be some grief or some releasing going on while these Venus and Ceres go over Pluto there, with regards to the Libra past and the Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn era. So that might be also coming with that time period, depending on your placements, like when exactly. Also, yeah, so then by then Pluto, Mars seems to be retrograde here, and soon then we have Capricorn season. At the winter solstice, it changes signs. The sun into Capricorn. So it moves from here to Capricorn there. And we've got a new moon in Capricorn on December the 30th. I don't have the chart right now here, but it's at 9 degrees Capricorn. So that's where my Uranus is. It's an interesting time, you guys. Thanks for listening. And on January 2nd, we're gonna have Mercury exit that a retrograde shadow. So then it's all new thinking again. It's not anymore about that previous year. It's a fresh start for Mercury. In our expression at that point, we've pondered and we've explored, and now we can move forward with it. Yes, and how you can see the nodes at 0 degrees at that point. So then we're gonna shift in that sense too. So it's new energies, different combinations coming soon. Very soon. Yeah, so hang in there in the big shifts. Take good care of yourself. Remember to bring into your life the beauty, the rest that you need, what feels good to your body, what makes you feel safe in your body, what calms down your nervous system. Remember to incorporate that sort of things that work for you specifically, that you found out that work for you, or that you just feel like that it works for you right now, depending on. And yeah, that will help you navigate through this. Meanwhile, we keep like experimenting and learning more through it all. And if you feel like it, you can contact me. There's an email, artofastrologylin@gmail.com, in the description box too. So it's been great sharing about these themes with you, and I will keep posting something about astrology every now and then. I've usually done it like a few months in between. And then there's some tarot readings in Finnish, and maybe I will start doing some live streams with tarot, like bilingual, with both Finnish or English, depending on who shows up and who wants a reading. So I was thinking that might be fun to make it a bit more interactive. So if you're interested in that, you can subscribe and turn on the notifications, so then you will be notified when there is a stream. All right, great. So I think that's all for now. Thank you. See ya.